Welcome back, Sandwalkers. Today we're going to be going over a developer Q&A that I was invited to as one of the Funcom creators. There's a lot of answers to a lot of questions that may have been off record, that may have not been asked, that you guys might want to know. So stick around until the end because we got some juicy stuff to go over. Before we jump into the developer Q&A, I wanted to remind everyone that you can get an early access start by buying the deluxe or ultimate edition of Dune Awakening. And if you haven't pre-ordered yet and you plan to, please use the link in the description of this video because it helps support me and I'd really appreciate it. And of course, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. And with all that out of the way, let's get into the juicy details. The question was asked basically asking what the plans are for the future of the game. And they responded with, the game has a 10-year development plan that includes going off-world and more, which is super exciting to me. I think it's really cool that they're going to expand on the Dune universe and the Dune lore and go off-world. Super excited about that. Apparently there is going to also be free updates. There will be story, dungeons, etc. Basically, the run-of-the-mill normal stuff that you could expect in a game. Going to be free updates. A lot of people have asked about the tank, and the tank is going to be coming, but they do not know when. So they're still working on trying to dial that in to where it's going to be possible to have that in the game. But yes, the tank will be something that's in the game eventually. Also, the rumors about a third faction coming isn't really a rumor anymore. There will be a third faction coming, but they don't have a set date on when that's going to happen. There have been some concerns on how you're able to actually visit one of your friends if they're on a different server or different siege or whatever. This whole server siege thing is really confusing to a lot of people. However, I'm here to let you know that they did let us know about a way that you'll be able to use a server browser now, and it doesn't need to have a friend on the server anymore. So I guess you'll be able to somehow cross server play. I don't know how that's going to work out. I don't know the whole logistics of it all because it's very complicated. Just know that you will be able to play with your friends no matter what. Somebody asked about multiple loadouts, and they also mentioned something about the hotbar, which I have a hot take on that, and I hope that they listen to this. If you guys hear me out there doing Awakening, what I'm about to tell you would be crucial and really cool if you implement it. But really quick, multiple loadouts are not coming. Okay, so they don't believe in it. They don't think it's a good idea to have you just be able to hot swap to a different loadout immediately whenever you're being approached or whatever. They want you to basically plan for any of the journeys that you decide to go on. And as mentioned, they did mention something about more hotbar slots coming, which I'm so happy they mentioned that. However, I want to recommend a really cool system that actually is from Enshrouded, where you basically press the Alt button and it actually flips over to another menu of hotbar. So hopefully they don't extend on the hotbar and make it longer. I just hope that they make it more intuitive and to where it's like switchable. But yeah, the hotbar system in Enshrouded is freaking amazing. And the only reason I say this is because I also ran into huge issues with the hotbar. I felt like I had so many different tools that I wanted to have on the hotbar, but I couldn't. And there was no easy way to just swap them in and out unless I went into the actual UI menu. And then that's just, it's an interruption in gameplay, and it didn't really feel that great or smooth. So again, no multiple loadouts. They want you to make deliberate choices. You're going out into the world of Arrakis. Be prepared for whatever it is you're going out for. Now, this next one is a huge thing, a big deal. It's going to be available on SteamDeck at launch. It's basically going to be like a low-end laptop mode Conan type deal. And they also mentioned that you shouldn't try to play on anything less than an SSD because that could cause a lot of headaches. Now, a question came up about key bindings, if those will be, if we'll be getting more keybinds or be able to change them ourselves. And they did say here that the keybinds, there will be more of them at launch than there was in the beta. Auto run will be early post-launch. It didn't make it into the launch patch, so expect auto run to eventually be coming, I would assume, shortly after launch. Somebody has mentioned in the past that they've seen turrets in the trailers. And apparently those were just marketing, old assets marketing has been using. Joel has removed them, but they plan on coming back someday with them whenever they're more balanced or ready to implement the turrets. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Endgame here. One of the main guild-based events at Endgame, which is called the Landsrad. And you'll have to basically deal with every week. the Coriolis storm is going to come through and wipe out the desert. And it's your job and your guild's job to go out there and scan the deep desert. You're going to need to harvest, get different things there each week. It's going to essentially change the world every single time that the Coriolis storm comes. So it'll be different every single time you go out. So there'll be new dungeons, and ultimately you'll go out there, scan everything, do your whole thing. And then you'll have to get ready for Sunday, which is the Landsrad vote system. I'll be doing a video on what Landsrad is and what it's like and how that works out. So make sure to like and subscribe if you want to get notifications for those videos. So if you guys saw any of the recent live streams, the one with like the bigger streamers, Summit and all of them, there was an issue where a lot of people got to see what combat was kind of like in the end game. And we saw a lot of stun locking, which is a big problem. But I'm here to let you know, they have confirmed they have worked on the combat in that system, and stun locking shouldn't be a thing anymore, as they've implemented a new stamina system that will allow you to basically get out of that situation. It's kind of like I guess like a second wind type deal. Yeah, the second wind system is basically just going to allow you to dash out and get to safety, hopefully get away out of that stun lock. They've also mentioned that heavy and slow attacks are now more separated, and what that means, I guess we'll find out. Somebody asked if there would still be scrap vehicles. In the beta we saw scrap vehicles and ornithopters and stuff that were kind of crashed and wrecked around the map. There will be some scrap vehicles around, but they removed a lot of them until you're at a certain tier, because, well, people like me made videos showing you where I'm sorry guys, I'm sorry. I don't know if it was my fault. I'm sure I contributed, but I did make a video on TikTok showing people where there was a really interesting way to get some sand bikes early in the game, and they have now removed this. So if you planned on using my video to get across the sands with a sand bike early game, it's not possible anymore. And the reason for that is that they just want people to play the game the way it was intended, without trying to, fly through the game, get an ornithopter in like an hour. And it's just, it's not really how they intended the game to be. So unfortunately, they've made those changes. They want an even experience for all players, and basically for all players to engage in the game properly. The bikes were originally a fallback, so me showing you guys to use those early game was probably a bad idea. Permissions are being worked on because they're a bit annoying to handle, especially with guilds. So I can confirm that they have mentioned that. They also had some questions about modding. Their biggest issue is that they don't own the IP versus Conan. They imagine the owners don't want porn mods and so forth. So Dune Awakening probably isn't going to see mods. This question was actually about factions and how those work, and if you can betray, a certain faction, and what would happen if you do. Their answer to that is basically you can betray a faction to go to another, but you can't go back. You can do it one time to each faction. A recent change made it to where you can still buy gear from that faction, and you can earn things from each faction. The third faction will have different set of things with them. They've also mentioned that they're working on the snapping systems in the game for the building and etc., decorating and whatnot. I actually had a question for them about placing down blueprints and buying blueprints off the exchange. Which one might be the best for you guys to focus on buying when it comes to how they're going to be placed down, because a lot of these builds could be built around specific rock formations and things like that, it would really matter for you to know where that was placed at. And they let me know that there was a way for you to buy the blueprints, and it would like kind of add in, like if you decided to put it kind of higher up, I guess it would add some like foundations below it. I'm not 100% sure if that's still a thing or not, but I did recommend that they put in new tagging system for the blueprint. Joel actually said this was a really good idea, so hopefully we see that in the future. But a tagging system for like the different terrains that maybe you built the blueprint on, essentially like flat dunes, or maybe if it was built on a cliffside or something like that, maybe there's some tags to where the buyer knows specifically that this base probably won't work on a flat dune, etc., or it was definitely built around rock formations and rock structures, to let people know a little bit better what they're getting themselves into when they buy the blueprint off the exchange. They also mention here that shortly after launch patch, it will have a character recustomization and also have free character additions like ink, so tattoos, hair, etc. I mean, there's a lot going to be added with the character customization, and I'm so happy about it because we really need some new tattoos, man. That would be really cool. I love the tattoo system in Dune Awakening. It's amazing. They've also confirmed that trading from the vehicle's inventory will be possible in the future. So yeah, all these questions were asked and all these answers were given by the developers during a 1-hour private content creator call. It's really awesome that the developers have this much communication with the content creators. It's awesome to see. I'm glad we got a lot of questions answered by them, and these questions are actually ones that are off the book, man. I mean, most of these that were asked are not in the communist signals. You really won't be getting these anywhere else unless a content creator was in that specific meeting, and it's really cool that I was able to be a part of this. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you like Dune Awakening content, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe. We're almost a YouTube partner, which is freaking amazing. I couldn't have done this without you guys. And until next time, I'll see you later, Sandwalkers.